us.
We're here. Okay. Sorry. I don't know why. I didn't even. We're live.
What a terrible intro.
Hello.
Yeah.
Talking Bits.
Hello.
Michael Rose.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Boer.
They know.
Kassidy Morton.
They know.
The second Morton on this podcast.
That's right.
Yep.
How does it feel to be following your dad's footsteps on this show?
It feels natural. It feels like
yeah, it feels like it's what you always do.
feels like what I always have to do.
Michael pressed record for you.
I
so
did.
That's,
I was very cautious to actually press record.
That's true. That is fun.
I was like, I've already let one Morton. I've let
different
both
than
the
your
Mortons
dad.
down in some capacity, and I didn't want to let her down this
Haven't
way.
we all? Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've also let the Mortons down in some capacity. So
the letting you down.
we have that in common.
The way I let Kassidy down was shout out CrossFit, baby OJ.
All right, I'm just going to take a seat on this one.
Yeah, bye.
Kassidy
bye.
and I do CrossFit.
We had to talk about it immediately.
Immediately. We did a
Obviously.
partner workout one time. Do you remember that?
I probably tried to forget.
And
Sorry.
you killed, mistake. He really did just take a seat back. No, Kassidy and I did a partner workout one time, and Kassidy is a much better athlete than I am.
No.
And that's all I have to say. Nathaniel, get your fucking mic back.
Will there be some if you just heard Angry Birds fire up? Ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum.
You look like
I'm just over
You
here.
look like a Candy Crush. But
I was gonna say
you look like you're
still
crushing
play-
that candy,
Hold on,
bro.
you look like you still play Angry Birds. Like that's your go-to. Like
Angry Birds Rio is a good one, but I don't understand why me taking a backseat to a CrossFit conversation made you both immediately start roasting me when I came back.
because we're better than you. We do CrossFit.
I was
You heard
looking
it
for
here
an
first.
opportunity to roast you.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, well, we did kind of gang up on Michael in the last one, so
Yeah, pretty unprovoked. Actually, I did tell him to roast me.
it was
and then
completely
you guys-
provoked.
Yeah,
He
I
was a
did ask
fucking
for it,
asshole the whole
pretty
time.
much. Yeah. Yep. Cassidy, you do stand-up comedy.
I do.
You did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're also in medical school, but you were just telling us how much you love it. And how much you are
Best
going to
decision
continue
you've
it.
ever made in your life.
That's what
Absolutely.
you said. Yes.
I
this
did
is
not say that I was going to quit.
No regrets.
Not at all.
I didn't
This
say
is
I wanted to
actually a
drop out.
plug for the medical school at ETSU. They've asked you to come on
Quillen?
today. Yeah. Quillen is
They said,
sponsoring
would
this
you-
episode.
Yep. We have
They said, would you please keep doing comedy? It's
Yes.
so good for the medical
bringing
profession.
attention to our department.
We love when you talk about your vagina on stage.
Yes.
It's like really good for the medical
Yeah,
students.
very medical.
it's just driving people to take more anatomy classes.
That's
and
true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm teaching them so much.
No publicity is bad publicity. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I could
also
find bad publicity. Anyway,
for
go
anybody
ahead.
listening. We kind of touched on it at the beginning, but you're also the daughter of the Mr. Brian Morton who was on the show, and isn't that fun for you always?
Yeah, I
That's gotta
do
be-
say I come from a short line of comedians.
Short
so
line of comedians.
That's true.
That's funny.
that's
Sure.
incredible. I do.
Yeah.
Honestly, he makes me a better comedian because I love talking about having sex on stage in front of my dad. All I want.
It is a fun move. Yeah.
Honestly, last night he wasn't at my show and it hurt because I couldn't make him uncomfortable.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So.
He, seeing him react to your set is more fun for me, I think, than seeing a crowd react to your set. Just watching him go, ugh, when you say some
I love
stuff
it.
like, ugh.
I
It
love
is
it.
cool. Yeah. I don't get to do that with my dad, but I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I mean, I talk about him. He's just not there, you know. Yeah.
You just get to talk about how hot your mom is in front of your mom.
I do that
and
sometimes.
that makes everyone else uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It
and
makes
that's
me the
perfect.
most uncomfortable. It does.
Yeah.
I was
She
going
was
to roast
harassed
you
after
about
the
that,
show.
and then I
That's
forgot to.
yeah.
That's anyway. Go ahead.
It's true. No, so
I
we-
wish she was here. Sorry, what?
Can we have your mom on,
absolutely not.
dude?
Next time she's on.
She's talking
hit
about
me
starting one of her own, actually, like a therapy.
Man,
podcast.
let's have your mom on.
I don't like that sentence.
Man, let's have your mom on.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like,
that's weird.
I don't like the man. That
With
was
the-
too many
with the
A's
car-
and man. Let's have your man.
He's like literally never talked like that before.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah, I got
I'm telling
real
your baby.
She does it. She
Tell
does
her.
it to him.
I'm telling your baby what you said. So when we had your dad on, we talked at length about how he was doing comedy before there's really comedy in the Tri-Cities. But at that time, you would have been growing up. So like, do you have memories of your dad doing
Abandoning
bar
your family.
shows?
No, I'm just kidding.
and like?
Oh, don't even
While
give me
you're-
that.
I was just kidding. I was
We
just,
don't want to create a family
that was
rift
just
here.
a joke. Yeah, that was a.
I'm not saying abandoning your family. I'm saying, was comedy always a part of his life, like when you were growing up?
Yeah, I mean, we really just didn't take it very seriously, which I think happens to most men who start comedy, and
Sure.
that's completely like validated.
Yeah.
That you should not take them seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually.
I agree.
And their kids
I'm a
especially are not gonna
100%.
care. Like,
I hate
this is gonna be a soundbite episode. Yeah.
my friends in college. I actually remember this. My friends in college were like, we need a live stream or like watch your dad's video all together as a group. That was
Oh.
horrifying.
Oh my god.
That's
was
the
horrible.
worst
That's
thing
terrible.
I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Why did they do that to me?
That's
but
terrible.
so it was like pretty impactful for a while.
Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of cool too. Like, I mean, my dad didn't really do shit, so it's kind of cool that like he at least has. Also, it would be one thing if he was still doing those shitty bar shows 10 years later. He's fairly successful. Like he's moving around doing big shows.
The thing about my dad, this is some tea for you guys, is that
Excellent.
he's always like, I think I'm going to take a step back. I think I'm going to take a step back from comedy. And then he'll schedule when he says, I think he does it on purpose. I think he's manifesting. When he does that, he'll end up scheduling like 4 shows.
That's what it is.
So
It's his sweet mistress.
He's
you have to
just learned.
pretend like you're quitting. You have to be a tease.
Yeah.
It seems to be working
That's how
for
you
some other friends
succeed.
of ours. Actually,
Yeah.
if you retire, you come back stronger. I think.
Every time.
That's what. Yeah, that's what we've learned.
Not me.
On this show. That's true. Michael
Took a
had
month
a.
off and I bombed.
Oh, he had a rough set recently.
Okay, we talked about that last week. It's okay. We're
Yeah.
going. You weren't there. You're not the bartender anymore.
Yep.
Also, Cassidy used to be the bartender
Yes.
at Blue Ridge Comedy.
That's true.
My favorite
Bartender,
job.
Med
Yeah.
student,
My favorite identity.
comedian, CrossFit. God, is there
You have a
anything
lot of
you can't
introductions.
do? That's
I
true.
do.
Yeah,
True.
you do.
That's how I brought her up last night. I was like, she used to be a bartender. Now she's a med student, and she does comedy. Cassidy Morton.
So much
That's all I
Yeah.
could think.
going
That's all I
on.
could think of. It is a lot. Do you? I mean, that's got to be completely overwhelming, like at all times.
Do you sleep?
I do. I fucking love sleeping, but not enough.
Wow.
I always want it more.
Yeah, me too.
That was.
I think that's natural, yeah.
that was a bomb.
You're
Yeah,
welcome for
okay.
talking Michael out of a 9:30 podcast this morning. Also, yeah, because that would
Oh,
fun.
I wasn't
for
even
us.
awake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been alive.
I'm.
No.
I
baby
barely was an
schedule.
hour later.
I'm baby schedule. I slept in today. You know what time my sleep in was?
6:30.
7:45.
Ooh.
That was my sleep in and
Oh.
baby
Yuck.
schedule. Yep. Anyway, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
don't have kids.
Oh, about
Everybody.
how overwhelming my life is.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just talk about how overwhelming your life.
My friend texted me the other day and was just like, "You have it all together," and I love that people don't know that I cry. I love that people can't tell. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
That's a vibe. That's a vibe.
So,
yeah, that's I hear that kind of stuff coming from my girlfriend all the time with pharmacy school. It's fair. I mean, I went through a degree, just a bachelor's, and was completely overwhelmed for 4 years. So I can't
Yeah.
even imagine now.
I was so overwhelmed. I dropped out. So
And that's true.
twice.
They say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's like a 9 to 5." No, it's a 9 to 9, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah,
and then
mine
you fail
was-
your quiz the next day.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Well, that on top of trying to balance social interaction already, and then that on top of also having this thing you love, which is comedy, which trying to do that on top of everything. I mean, there's so many, which Michael has, obviously, the baby, the real estate. I have to, everybody has things. But I think
That's my
sometimes
identity.
on this show, it's a comedy podcast. We talk about comedy, but there's so many aspects of our guest lives that we never talk about. And like, that just has to be completely overwhelming. Are you ever to like a breaking point with it where you're like, have you ever given yourself that ultimatum of like, I'm either choosing medical school or comedy, or are you comfortable with both?
Well, I mean, I think you guys know comedy doesn't pay the bills. So
Speak for yourself.
okay, it doesn't pay my
Say the
bills.
same thing.
I only
Yeah.
have one subscription and it's $9.99 a month, and I've been paying it with comedy. So that's what I'm paying the bills.
Yeah, that's how when we got here, I knew this was not your house.
Get fucked.
Yeah,
nerd.
I'm like, you
Anyway.
want to come record in my van? Yeah, yeah.
Like, okay,
That's
so
true.
a shed, maybe.
I like
Yeah.
the. I like
It does not pay the bills.
I like
That's
the.
true.
I like the roast to you and kind of compliment to me with that one. So thank you for that.
That's true. Yeah.
yep.
I
You
think
thought
I'm like,
I was like gonna lose my house at one point of our friendship. Anyway, go ahead.
oh my god, the way I didn't know he had a real job. I really was like, oh my god,
It's
wait,
not a real job.
What did you quit?
It's a pyramid scheme.
I quit a former sales
A
job.
former sales job, and
Yeah.
he told me he was quitting, and I was like, oh my god,
What
Yeah.
did
we're
I
gonna have
do?
to start a GoFundMe at the bar.
To pursue comedy.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
Wouldn't be
That
the
was so funny.
first guest of the show to
I don't
quit their
remember
job
like what it
prematurely.
was. I don't remember what it like why. I don't remember how I informed you that I was not going to be homeless, but you were
It
like,
is a weird move to like walk up to the bar at a comedy club and be like, I'm quitting my
No,
job.
I
It's
think
not
it
a
was
weird move, is the thing.
I
That's
think-
what everyone says.
We may have had this conversation at the gym.
like,
To be
why are they
fair,
I'm
telling
talking
me
people off the edge all the time.
You see, there's another level of stress. Therapy. You're a
Genuinely.
therapist. Yeah.
we may have had that conversation at the gym. To be fair, but anyway, yeah, it was funny.
Well,
But I
you
remember-
mentioned too that like being a bartender was like your favorite job, but off mic, you and I have had a lot of conversations over the years of like things, just the wild stuff that you would encounter
Oh
as
my
a
God.
bartender.
Yeah, what was the
At a
craziest
comedy
thing
club.
that ever happened
I
at
just-
Blue Ridge Comedy Club? while you
How
were there?
many married couples have tried to take you? home after a
Yes,
show?
and they came back. So yeah, there was a married couple who was visiting, I guess, and they asked me to have a threesome. I've had performed that night, so fair. I know I'm super alluring. Okay,
Right.
I get that.
they saw your act and they were like, "We got to get
And
this."
she's
one.
a bartender.
Yeah.
Oh, they were so weird.
She could
And the
pour
girl
quick.
was hot. But I also, when I tell people that people tried to have a threesome with me, they're
Yeah.
like, ooh, and I'm like, they weren't a hot couple.
Right. Well, you did
Hot
stop
couples
after
maybe
the
don't
girl.
have to.
You said the girl was hot, and then you didn't continue that.
We don't
sentence, which kind of tells me,
The
kind of tells me
average-
what we need.
the
She was
average out of
literally-
10 between the two of them was like a 4. You know, like,
Genuine, because she was only hot in comparison
Right.
to the guy
Yeah.
she
That's
was
true.
with.
yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy. They
Yeah.
won't be back now, I guess. after
No, they
hear
came
this.
back. I mean,
Think
Did they
asked,
try again?
think
Were they like,
asked
what
Derek.
about now?
they said, "Do you remember us?" And I was like,
You're like, yeah. Did
Think
you
they-
say, did they ask Derek?
Yeah.
I just realized what he said. He probably took him up on it. Yeah. He's like, you guys ever been to South
I
America?
said, "You have weed."
Derek's
You-
the new bartender. Anyway,
We love Derek.
Yep,
Yeah.
Derek's cool. He's gonna be on the podcast. We pressured him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
Hi.
did you tell us about when were you bartender at Blue Ridge first or comedian first?
Absolutely bartender.
Bartender.
And I remember distinctly I started doing comedy because we had an open mic with like 4 people and they were all so bad. And
Yeah.
I said, I think I can do this.
was it?
That was the
on
early
list,
days, right?
On the list, was it Travis Stevenson, Meredith Kerr? I'm just kidding.
Joe
I
Bridges.
wish.
John Pruitt.
Oh my gosh.
So this is
Bridges,
before
These
all of
people
them.
don't even
making
exist
fun of
anymore.
all of the people. Like
It was
All the
the
former
It was
Yeah.
so
girl-
bad. And it was,
It was the
Yeah.
hot girl, her ugly husband, and 2 others.
yeah,
I was like, surely I could do this.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
doesn't look that hard.
I think a lot of comedians feel that way. Like I went to a few shows at Blue Ridge, and I knew you from high school, sort of. But I went to a few shows, and I was talking to you afterwards one time, and I was like, I think I'm going to do this. And you were like, you should. And then I just did because I was same thing. I was like, some of them were great, but some of them I feel like I'll be okay. You know, like I can
Absolutely.
do that.
Cassidy, I think you were the guest that Nathaniel and I both know the most outside of comedy,
Yeah.
Right.
independently of each other. Like
Maybe.
you guys went to high school together,
Maybe
and
so.
I just
well, he went to high school with me, but I didn't go to high school with him. That's
Yeah.
you had a
That's a different
one of
story.
you
Just
had a
bullied
joke
me.
about the other. You had the joke about Cassidy at one point about how she used to bully you or something, and I don't remember. It was an open mic early in my career. I say
Yeah,
career,
I used to
like
bring
I
her
get
up
paid.
to that sometimes
Yeah.
when we would waterfall on shows and stuff. I'd be like, coming up next is my high school bully. I thought about doing that last night.
You should have.
Yeah, high school bully. No,
Yeah.
you're what, 2 years old, 3 years older? 2, 3,
2
6,
maybe?
7. I don't know. She's older. She's
Yeah.
old, and she never acknowledged my existence. But I knew you.
I said, looks
High
familiar.
school crush?
Absolutely not. We were both in. I don't usually date girls that could beat the shit out of me. We were in yearbook together. It was like we made the yearbook or whatever. Anyways, we're getting into the weeds
That's
now, folks.
that
yeah.
checks out that
Let's-
you were in your
Let's not
book.
bring up.
Let's not.
Don't say her name.
You're
Yeah,
only-
let's not bring it up.
Say it. I want to know.
No,
Let's
because
talk about high school.
probably listen. We.
Let's talk about high school. I'll start guessing names. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't
know,
enjoy. So
I'm just kidding. I don't
you're
know.
so when I start comedy, I am just out of college. So that would make you a couple years ahead, and you're just out of college. What like growing up? Was there anything aside from your dad? Obviously, what was your interaction with comedy? Like, did you guys watch comedy at home? Was it a big
Yes.
thing?
I actually used to say that my dream job would be to be on SNL. So this kind of tracks. And I kind of let that go, obviously, because I'm really competitive and I had to go to medical school. But
Yeah.
like growing up, it was a huge thing in my house. Our whole family would watch SNL together. Like I heard Dick in a Box probably when I was like 5.
Wonderful.
My first
Yeah.
comedy
That's
show.
That's a banger
Yeah.
of a song.
It don't make me break out.
Yeah.
Holds up.
So good.
We'll close the
And I'm on a
episode
boat.
with
Oh my
Cassidy.
god.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
good.
a good age too for SNL. Like for somebody just a couple of years younger than us, they definitely didn't watch Up Growing SNL.
Right.
Because who gives a fuck? Like
Even people
it's-
my age don't know what it is,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I used to get my news from SNL,
Right.
which is not
Right.
the good news.
Or
source.
like my parents, like growing up in the late '90s, SNL's popping at that. So like it's a huge one for me too because they watched it and stuff. But
Were you born in the
that time-
90s or the 2000s?
90s,
Okay, good.
99,
All right. Barely made
November
it.
'99.
Sorry.
I got 1 month in there.
Barely made it.
One
All
month
right.
on that century.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just was like thinking about that. I was like, my host
Ew,
like a child.
2000s
Yeah, I was
baby.
like, ugh. You were about to
Yeah.
see this podcast in 14
Right.
minutes into your episode. Just,
I think we've talked about it on the show. I used to be a substitute teacher for a while, and some of those kids, like when I subbed elementary one day for gym, and I had like all grades. And when I had the preschoolers, their roster has their birthday, and some of them were born in like 2019, like after I graduated high school, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I
my
hated
daughter was
it.
born after you guys graduated college. I'm just kidding. She's a year old.
What an
That's a
idiot.
stupid joke.
that is.
Shout out, baby OJ.
And we've already talked about CrossFit. We're doing it.
SNL though, so like that's who's in that group? Is that Lonely Island, right? Those songs?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg.
I was
Andy Samberg's my
obsessed with
favorite person,
him.
like my favorite.
He's your guy.
Brooklyn
Yeah.
Nine-Nine, you big fan?
I actually haven't watched it because
Really?
in my adulthood I don't have time for shows
Okay.
anymore.
Right.
I know. I'm trying not to make this a depressing
Too late.
episode. I
I
know.
just go home and cry every night.
Yep.
No.
Mm. I would watch it though. I've heard
It's a
it's
fun
really
show.
good.
It's fun. You'd
Yeah.
like it. Andy
For
Samberg's
sure.
pretty cool.
I'm trying to. So at that time, that's like early 2000. I'm trying to think who else is on that cast. Is there any other SNL cast
Honestly,
member?
just like I also upset the duo that I think is like the best duo of all time is Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake. Like both
yeah,
just
they're
so
awesome.
much fucking talent at each other all the time. Like
Yeah.
so I remember like always watching those skits too. I really
Yeah.
liked.
Yeah, they do. Well, when Fallon had his show too, right? Like they before the Tonight Show, they did a lot. I know they used to do one called like History of Hip Hop, where they perform all the songs that like made hip hop. And I've watched
Yes,
that
I
video
love
a
those.
billion times. Yeah,
I also
so much talent.
like if I could say who I would want to be like a comedian on SNL, it's Kristen Wiig. I think she's so
Oh my
fucking
God.
funny. She's kind
Super-
of like I guess died down a little bit, but she's like an actress now.
Yeah,
So
super versatile too.
Yeah.
with that, there's always that one cast member on SNL who could do anything. I think she was that one, and with like the accents and the characters and stuff, so
good.
goofy. Yeah, that's funny because I don't see a lot of times on this show when we ask for like influences and inspiration, like when Joe Bridges says, Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
Or Mitch Hedberg. You see that in Joe Bridges. I don't really see Kristen Wiig as much. in
Absolutely
you, I don't
not.
think.
I just
Yeah.
thought she was so cool and like she was so funny and like a really strong female funny. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right. At a
So-
time when SNL is very male dominated, also. Which
Right.
now it's a little different, I think.
And she
Yeah.
didn't have to be like
Got a problem with
sexual
that?
to be like that.
No.
It's like she didn't have to lower herself. She was just purely funny, and
Right.
that's admirable for me.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with
Is
being
that
sexual.
Maya
any-
Rudolph? Is there a crossover there too? She's
Yes.
incredible too.
She's also really good.
And then, well, honestly, during that time, that's like the Tina Fey, Amy Poehler
Yeah.
era too, and that's when there's a real shift there where it's like
Right.
they're taking over, which is awesome. I mean, Tina, I think she's going to be the new SNL showrunner after Lauren leaves. I think.
Oh, I didn't know
I think
that.
that's word on the street. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, it makes sense. She probably has the most experience.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's so fun. So, is there outside of SNL is stand up something that played at home? I mean, obviously Brian loves it because he talked about his influences on here, which I would imagine are yours too because he passed them down.
Yeah, he used to try and convince me to start writing because, which is like, I'm just a kid. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck you, I'm not writing comedy.
You're
what
six.
do you
You're like, I want to
mean?
play. Why are we?
Wait, can we? Yeah, seriously.
He's like, get in your room and write.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to get a goddamn scholarship. Can you leave me alone?
Yeah, I'm writing
He
for a
was like,
different
if
reason.
you do like your best five, you'll get a scholarship. That's what it was.
That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
All those comedy scholarships that
Yeah.
are out there. Shout out to Quillen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they accepted me.
Yeah, she's on a full term comedy scholarship.
But I wrote a paper and apparently I left it sitting out on our kitchen counter one time and he read it and brought it to me and was like, you need to be doing comedy or something.
Ooh.
And I was like,
Was it funny?
no.
The
it
paper
wasn't.
was
No.
just like, what's
It was
with
just
all this
good. It was just good
airplane
writing.
food? Yeah. He's like, this is perfect.
It's
Yeah.
like, you're kind of good in English. Maybe you
Right.
should be a comedian.
Well, not to come full circle and not to bring this back up again, but that program that we were both in high school, the class that we both took, was very writing focused, and that was a big aspect of it. It was like, who are our best writers? And that's how it was like a writer's room, basically,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And I think that's probably a similar thing, where it's like, because I think in a lot of ways,
You guys went to a cool high school. Shit
I would
like that.
hardly.
nah.
Okay, don't
We're
let the stones
exaggerating.
fool you.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
You guys do have
castles.
it is a cool looking high school for sure.
Yeah, not on the inside. It's a
Yeah.
shithole on the inside.
Better than my high
There's
school.
dip spit through the hallways, my guy. Like
Oh yeah.
Particularly in the hallway that classroom
that
was
one
in.
hallway.
Yeah.
We took that class in a place called the Dungeon. I just want
Yeah,
to preface.
literally. Yeah.
My high school, we had a bomb threat about once a week for 2 years.
Wait, we had one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah, my bad. That was my bad.
We had like
I just wanted out of
70.
class. That
Literally,
was
we
my
could have
bad.
said something in your book and just
We
We
had,
definitely
Bomb
could have
threat.
got out.
we had
Yeah.
like 70 while I was in high school, and
Well,
that's
stop doing them.
yeah, you know,
That's
a
not
lot
funny.
of people got arrested. Anyway,
Yeah.
I
The
went to a
right-
How do
school-
you know it was 70, huh? That seems really specific
Yeah.
for you to know. Weird.
I,
He's
uh,
like,
I had
I
17 one
scheduled a
semester.
lot of emails. And yeah,
true.
no,
Yeah.
it was a lot. It was a lot. Really accepted death at one point. Anyway, go ahead.
But so Brian's trying to get you to do comedy for years, and then what is it? It's seeing other comics at the club while you're a bartender that makes you finally go.
yeah, be so
Okay.
bad. I was
Right.
like, this
Yeah.
is so inspiring for me.
Yeah, Greg was just so bad that you had to go up.
Oh, I wish it was Greg
Shout out to
too.
Greg. Yeah.
God,
yeah.
I love Greg. Anyway,
Are there any local? While we're on the subject, I mean, you spent a lot of time in that club
Yeah.
over the years,
You
and
know
you've
them
seen
all.
a lot of people come and go. Are there any that stand out to you? Obviously, Meredith. I know you're very. Close
Obviously,
to.
my bestie Meredith,
Yeah.
Rain. Rain.
We love her. Rain, we love her
Of
too.
course.
Rain. So last night at the show, I brought her up to the only person to be a 3-timer guest on this show, on the podcast.
Oh, you
That's
shouted
not
out our
true.
show?
She's a 4-timer on this show, and Justin, I think, is also a 3 or a 4.
To have her time, to have her free time, I would kill.
Yeah, no kidding.
Incredible. 4
I know.
times?
Yeah, 4 times.
Has she been on the show 4 times?
I think so. 3 or 4. Yeah.
She's been 3 for sure. It doesn't matter.
Several.
Yeah.
She's been on. Well, she's great. Meredith's great. I mean, they're all obviously close friends of yours, and you met them through comedy, right? You didn't know them before at all.
Yeah, I met Rain actually, and I don't know if she's talked about this on here, but she came in and I was immediately intimidated. I was like, not another young, pretty girl that's kind of funny, taking my thunder. And
That's
then she
my
went
thing.
up.
Yeah.
She went on stage. I actually, dude, I'm so shitty because she came up to the bar and I said, "Is your boyfriend signing up?"
Oh.
What?
What a sexist.
A horrible
checker.
person.
You misogynist.
You put her in her place.
I have a
That's what you
story
did.
about you and Rain circling back to CrossFit. Anyway, do you remember
Oh.
that was so mean what you did. So we did there was a partner workout. It's always partner workouts. And it was Bring a Friend Day. And Kassidy brought Rain to maybe the hardest CrossFit workout I have ever done.
Wait, really?
Nah, maybe not.
I'm pretty sure we split that workout 3 ways and she still threw up in the bathroom.
That was like
Yeah.
that was like a 40-minute cardio, just straight running, biking, skiing.
Has she been back?
Exercise. No.
She says she's coming.
No.
I have a reputation for bringing people and then throwing up, and then people blame it on me. I'm
It's partner
sorry.
week this week. You gonna bring her back?
Absolutely, I'm gonna
I
try.
was looking at the workouts. They were rough.
Good, yeah.
Yeah,
Hope she's
anyway.
ready.
Nathaniel, you want to come work out with me this week?
No.
You should do it.
I don't even want to be here right now.
Anyway,
Much less working out
you're
with
gonna
you.
come work out with me this week.
I don't even want to look at you. I don't even want to think about it.
Okay, but
Yeah.
when Rain, also when she went on stage, this is how good I think she is that she came off stage and I was like, "So can we be best friends now?" Sorry,
That's impressive.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
I was immediately like, "All right,
Yeah.
I need you in my life."
Yeah,
Because I'm surrounded by men
Yeah.
who think that they're funny.
That's
Yeah,
true.
and we're not.
Here's my phone number.
This
and
present room included. That's
Yeah.
especially then, no one was
Hey,
funny.
Well, those are the
Real
early
quick.
days of the club too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I forgot to press record.
You're shitting me.
No, I'm just kidding. I pressed record. We're good.
I was about to say this
The
is a
Morton
family
curse.
feud at this point. He's got something against the Mortons.
The Morton
Seriously.
curse.
He's
No.
like, I don't even use their salt. Fuck the Mortons.
That was stupid. I'm sorry I laughed. I'm not gonna
Go
do it.
ahead, hit it. I don't give a shit. he hits me with those.
Yeah, I
Who
didn't-
knew you were a
My joke
DJ?
flops.
I want to hear this.
He looks like
You
a
wanna
fucking
hear the sound?
DJ.
Yeah,
doesn't
can we
he?
hear
He
that?
looks like a DJ
Okay,
for a
say
little
something.
Tyke's house. He looks like one of those little
You
plastic
actually
houses.
look like someone I went to high school with that was like, okay, I'm moving to Florida. I'm going to be a DJ.
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
Are they
Yeah.
doing successful or are they homeless?
If you
No,
had
that's
a,
not a real person. You are that person
Oh.
to me. I'm not referencing someone
Am I
I know.
successful?
actually
Or
somebody we
homeless?
went to high school with is a DJ now.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. We'll leave it
Wait.
there.
Oh,
We'll leave it there.
you know we have multiple people that are DJs now,
Yeah,
so
I
I
know
didn't
another
know
one
who
too.
you were talking about.
I know another one too, and he's a nice guy. But
They doing good?
if you had a DJ name, what's your DJ name, Michael?
My DJ name is Rose on the Track.
Not with the laugh track.
I thought-
After Rose on the track.
I don't know,
That's
dude.
a producer tag at the beginning that says that. I'm saying when a poster comes out, live DJ, whatever shitty house music you look like you're gonna play.
Dude,
What's
this
the
is
name?
It's
This
DJ McRose. I'm sorry.
DJ McRose? No, that's
That's what your name is.
DJ Real Estate.
You don't like it? You should have chose one then.
Listen, I was
DJ McReal Estate.
What
DJ
about
Real
Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, fuck off.
That's
You're
Ricky.
making fun of me. I posted a very
what
heartfelt
we're here
post
for.
on Facebook the other day, and a lot of people liked it,
Mm-hmm.
hearted it. Nathaniel, one angry reaction to it.
Yeah, well,
As I
Jealousy.
should have. I don't want to see
Yeah.
that shit. Get it off of there. I'm
it's
not following you.
Facebook, so
Yeah,
You've never heard that before.
that's enough. That's
She wanted to
enough
hear the
of
sounds.
sound bites.
She wanted to hear the sounds. to be
Yeah,
fair.
we
I'll
have
just go through them,
listeners.
I'll go through them. I don't know. So I have 4
All
left.
3 of our listeners just tuned out.
I have
Yeah.
4 left. I'll drop them throughout the podcast. They might not be relevant because
Yeah.
I don't know what those 4 do.
He
So-
he will not label the buttons, so
I
it's
won't
never
do it.
we never know what he's
I
getting.
how do you
know-
not know the colors by now?
So I know what the red one is, but it's for
He's
something
colorblind.
old. And the green
Why
one.
did we put him on this job?
I don't
He's
know.
like the medium gray one is the laugh track. The dark gray one is the trumpet sound. He's completely colorblind.
That would be
Yeah.
funny. I will give you a.
Do you think
That was good.
I'll give you that.
That was
one.
do
pretty
you
Yeah.
think your dad's listening to this right now? Have you thought about that?
He's
so
going to as soon as he knows I was on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
he also
Cassie, what's your favorite episode of the Talking Bits podcast?
put
The
you on
one with Pruitt on it.
Yeah, which one?
I haven't.
There's about 6
Is
of
there
those.
really? That's not surprising to me.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to any
What's
of
the,
them, but I love
the name
him.
of the Pruitt episode? No, I'm just kidding.
It's
Okay.
the Pruitt Chronicles.
The Pruitt Chronicles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been on many times.
I'm happy whenever we have a guest that hasn't. I know that sounds like counterintuitive, like everyone listen, subscribe, like whatever.
Yeah.
But I do like whenever we have a guest that's not been on,
Yeah.
like who's never heard it, because
Yeah.
on the flip side, we've had guests who like listen to every single episode, and then like every question they answer is like they rehearsed it a lot rather than
Oh,
like,
yeah. I have
Yeah.
no idea what you guys are going to talk
Yeah.
to
Good.
me about.
Yeah.
So
Mostly about the election coming up. That's most of the question.
Yeah.
And you don't want to hear about it from me.
yeah.
I'm not your person.
I might. I think you and I might be on the same page. I don't know if he is.
I literally don't know what's
Listen,
going
bro.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen.
Take it easy, okay? Don't let this neck beard
I've got
fool
my
you.
head deep
wore,
in the
uh,
kidneys right now.
He
So.
wore an ultra MAGA hat the other day. So
How did you not hear what she just...
what'd you say?
She said she's got her...
Head deep in the kidneys right now.
all in
I
the
don't know
kidney.
what's going on.
You get it?
Your
I get
life's
it.
all about kidneys. That's fun. That's really
Do we
fun.
need kidneys, or is it which one do we not need?
Like, for real?
There's
we
something
need
we
them
don't need.
so hard.
Oh, that's what filters.
need
your,
kidneys
that
so
filters.
hard.
That's your filtration.
I can't believe
Which
people...
one do we not need?
There's something we don't need. Pancreas?
Gallbladder?
I haven't learned about those yet.
Take that.
Yeah.
That's next month's chapter.
Just
Next
generally,
month, it
yeah.
really is. Actually.
You'll come back on. You'll tell us about gallbladder.
I will. If you
Yeah.
guys want to know about the kidneys, I've
Did
been
you
learning
bring your
about it, so
textbook
don't
like
ask
we
me.
asked you to?
Because I can't
All
fucking
right.
tell
The
you
next
anything.
Flip to
35
the
minutes of this show is
Yeah.
Cassie telling us about kidneys.
That's
So,
right. It's all about kidneys.
All right.
It's a kind of bean.
Pretty
I know that.
important.
Kidney
Pretty
bean.
important.
Getting important vibes.
Important vibes. Okay. And vitamins, right? I don't know.
Wait,
Oh.
vibes are good for the kidneys? Is that what
Vibes
you're
are good
saying?
for the kidneys.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
do hype my kidneys up every day.
You're just in the mirror like, good for you. Good for you, kidneys.
No, because I don't. I can't be eye level with them. They're like down here, I think.
You're down there. You're pretty
Anyway.
I'm lost.
pretty small.
I'm going to be honest. I'm lost.
I think
I'm
we
more
are, too.
lost than learning about the kidneys. so,
So kidneys like filter our urine, right?
yeah, they
God,
do.
if You don't
Yeah,
stop
okay.
it.
You don't actually want to hear about this.
I don't.
I
For
like
some
could,
reason, he
actually.
does.
All right.
For
all
some
right.
reason, he
Next
does.
question. Okay.
Do we want to talk about my dad some more? Did you talk about me
That's
and my
actually why
dad?
we invited you here, is to talk about
Is
your
he
dad.
about to come out of the closet?
He is in the
Surprise!
closet, yeah, he is.
I will one day. What I was going to say about your dad, the last thing I was going to say, is that when I asked you to be on our first Don't Tell show, which we had last night, which we talked about on Corey's episode, when I asked you, you must have told him, because like a day later, your dad texts me and he goes, do you have fucking selective memory or something? I was like, what? And he was like, you asked Cassie to be on the first Don't Tell show. Do you not know that I would like to do that? And I was like, hey, man, there's like 3 female comics in this town. Like, I kind of
Yeah.
stagger.
Yeah.
I kind
Family
of
feud.
pace it
I love
out.
it.
I was like, you'll be on.
Oh.
His first question was, what's your problem? And I was like, hey,
Good.
man, like, take
Good.
it easy. Yeah.
Oh, don't take it
Do you
personally.
guys
Yeah.
want to talk about we kind of didn't.
No, he was kidding.
I know that, but do you guys want to talk about Don't Tell? I didn't go because I don't
Yeah.
support you
Yeah,
guys.
we
Yeah.
could.
Yeah, you don't support me at all. But
No.
no, it went really
I
well.
actually texted him yesterday morning, and I was like, I hope it goes terribly tonight. So
Yeah.
I hope
good
you.
friend.
Well, certain things did. There was definitely ways to improve. The
Maybe
sound,
the bathroom.
sound and light, the bathroom.
Is there
yeah.
a bathroom in? It was at the terrarium, right?
Right.
I want to
Yeah.
go ahead and say the terrarium, cool as fuck. Like
I love that
Absolutely.
the
place.
pink light was so
It
cool.
was
I
pretty
thought.
cool.
I
I've
have
been
a-
getting flooded with like pictures and tags and
Yeah.
shit today, but it looked pink
Pictures
as hell.
were
in there. It
good.
was
I have
really
a
cool.
cactus from the terrarium that is currently dying in my office. Okay,
That's
go
pretty
ahead.
impressive.
How
that
do you
can
kill a cactus?
What are you
There's no
doing? Just
windows.
telling it your jokes?
There's no windows.
He's just whispering to it.
There's no windows.
He's in there like my baby.
I petted it every day.
Stop. That's weird. Don't talk about petting a cactus. That's very
Yeah.
strange.
Anyway.
No, the show went well. It was a sellout. The terrarium store
Yeah.
also agreed. Let's please shout out Carrie and everybody at the terrarium store. They were the best. After
Yeah.
the show, so she had like all of her sons and I think their girlfriends kind of worked there and stuff.
you make
and
them buy
some other
tickets?
employees. No.
That'd be so
they
funny.
all sat in the back. They loved it. They loved everybody. They talked
Mm-hmm.
about you. They talked about Keith. They talked about Justin. Everybody. Even though like some of the crowd, like Justin Mays, guest of the show, can be very aggressive. certain crowd members don't always respond to him in a great way. The venue loved it. They loved it so much that they were like, will you not only please come back and do a Don't Tell show here, but if you ever want to do a non-Don't Tell show here, like if you have a different weekend of the month you want to do Don't Tell, do a weekend here. Anytime you can use the space.
That is awesome.
So that's super cool. There's definitely things to improve on, I think, as far as like just logistical stuff. But yeah, it was super successful, super fun. And I thought the lineup was great. I tried to get a very diverse lineup. Rain, Travis, Kassidy, Andrew McCaffrey, Justin Mays, and Keith Marcel hosted. And how funny is Keith Marcel?
He is so good. And I admittedly haven't really seen him. Yeah. I guess I just haven't been at a show, Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. He's great. I also just love the Knoxville guys anyway. I was excited to see they were on the show.
Yeah. Except for Justin Mays.
They're the best.
Except Justin Mays. Fuck that guy.
You're doing it again. Major. He always picks on Justin, and then Justin just destroys him on it. I know. It's great.
It's a fun relationship.
No, Keith is kind of like what I tell like Bristol comedians is he's their Hunter Roberts. That's kind of what he is for Knoxville. Where it's like you never really see him. He'll stand in the back. He'll come in, but when he goes up, you're like, this guy murders. Like, where is he coming from? He's kind of that like sleepy, pitch hitter that comes in, and he's so funny. But I'd never seen him do more than 10 minutes. So when I booked him to do 20, I was like, I don't know what he's going to do. I'm sure it'll be great.
Just killed for another 10 minutes.
10 minutes in, I looked at my watch and I was like, he hasn't even started his jokes yet.
We were like, I wonder how long he's been up. Yeah. And he had been up 18 minutes already. We were like, he's probably halfway done. And you know that someone's good when you think it's only been like 5 minutes. And you want them to keep going. Like that.
The laughter did not stop for the first 12. I'm not even kidding. 12 minutes, just bam, 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 bam. He could barely fit words in. No, then he just switched gears, goes into the material, starts crushing with that after the crowd work and stuff. I mean, it was truly a clinic. And he even, he had asked me before he went up, Keith was like, where are you going to light me from? And I was like, well, I'm going to be back here because I couldn't walk through the crowd. So I was like, but Haley's going to light you from the back. My girlfriend was running the time. And I was like, she's going to light you straight back into the right. And he was like, all right, got it. And he goes out there. At 18 minutes, she lights him. And into the microphone, he goes, was that the light? And from the back, she goes, yeah. And of course the crowd's like, what? They don't know what.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. And he goes, damn, I've been up here 18 minutes already. And he goes, my ankles aren't even hurting yet. I can't believe it's been 18. Hilarious.
That's funny.
So funny. And then we went out after, me and him and the Knoxville guys, and had dinner and stuff. And I think he had a good time, which is awesome. That's really what I wanted to do, was make not just the crowd, but like the comedians have fun. So it was a good show. We're going to keep doing them. I mean, we're going to obviously keep doing more.
Also, hopefully. For being a first Don't Tell in a city that's just like a little slow sometimes to catch on to things.
A little slow.
Selling out, incredible. I was like so hyped about that.
And selling out 2 doors down from like a established.
Another show.
Yeah, like an established stage, the wall.
We talked about this on Corey's episode, which we recorded an hour ago. But there were 4 comedy shows in the Tri-Cities last night. 4 good comedy shows at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way people still ask me, like, oh, do you do comedy at the Holiday Inn? I don't know what that means.
There used to be a club there.
I think it must be. Was it the DoubleTree in Johnson City?
Yeah, it was the Holiday Inn. It was at a Holiday Inn. Yeah, there used to be. I never did. Obviously, none of us ever did it. But yeah,
I bet your dad did.
I bet he did.
I think he talked about it. I think he did talk about it on the show.
People ask me all the time, and I'm like, that sounds like the literally lamest show I've ever heard of.
Every time I meet somebody, they're like, they'll ask me that too, and I'm like, no, like,
no. Well, Don't Tell's a weird concept to sell too. Like sometimes definitely for the crowd,
right? The Holiday Inn.
Yeah, that's our next one, DoubleTree Hilton. Shout out. Yeah.
I texted my med group and was like, so here, come to the show. I can't tell you where it is. Yeah. Good luck.
Hard sell.
Yeah.
It is
so
hard
many
sell.
people too, like when I posted in the Facebook groups, there's so many comments of like, why are you telling people? Everybody makes that joke. I'm like, well, to sell tickets, dumbass. That's why. Like,
professional comedians just making bad jokes.
Pop-up secret style show as a comic, do you enjoy that? I think it's different than like a club comedy. It's different.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I like it because then maybe you're going to get people that you don't normally get, and that's cool because then they won't see your material over and over again, which happens sometimes in this area because there's,
because there's so many regulars at like Blue Ridge.
Yeah. Or members at Blue Ridge too. There's
the way I've performed the same set at Blue Ridge like so many times. I'm like, I just pray to God one person has not heard this before. You know,
get one genuine laugh and the rest pity laughs.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, we even had as we're starting the show, as we're setting up, there's people coming in. The store's still operating. They're selling plants, and it's a popular spot. So people are coming in and out. I think we had 4 or maybe even 6 people that were buying plants at the show and just were like, "Can we stay for this show?" And I was like, "It's sold out." And then the owner was like, "We have chairs." So we added
What?
like 5 or 6 seats in the
that's
back
awesome.
of people who were just shopping and were like, "Oh, I didn't know this was a thing. Where can we buy tickets?" And
How
we were
was
like,
it? It was like 50.
It was asses and elbows in there.
I was
It
gonna say,
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
There's like that whole middle section of plants.
That's right.
What'd they do with that?
scooted towards the door a little bit, but all the back tables and chairs and stuff was all cleaned out. And we put it
Okay.
back there.
That's
I'll show you the
interesting.
pictures
Yeah,
later.
yeah, that's-
It was. I think going forward, that's another change. I would love to do more spots there. They were fucking incredible to work with. Like from day one, they were awesome. But I think I'd probably cap it at 40 instead of 50. It just a little
Yeah.
more room in there would be nice.
Doing
we really
something
had
with the
65.
bathroom.
Well, I think
What?
we'll
Is
flip
there
flip
a
it?
bathroom
Yeah.
there or what?
There
What-
is, but it's in the back, and so the staging area for the comics was next to the bathroom. So like you'd have to basically walk in front of whoever's on stage to get to the bathroom.
Yeah,
and
that kinda
we needed to
sucks.
flip the layout, which I had offered, but venue.
Yeah,
and-
understand.
That's like
Understood.
that's
Technical,
Yeah.
boring stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Well, going forward too with venues, I mean, obviously that's the first one, and I think overall for a first one, I think it went well. I think
Yeah.
we didn't have any major disruptions. There was one heckler who was kind of annoying, but not a Michelle. You know what I'm saying?
Not a Michelle.
Shout out to the
Yeah.
last episode. Do you have on this topic? Do you have any like crowd members that just are burned into your memory from like being a problem at your shows?
Oh,
There's so many
Wait,
that
real
come
quick.
to my mind.
transition. Okay.
When would we ever use that?
Go ahead.
Why?
crowd members. My dad can be an issue.
Does he heckle
He
you?
wants- no, but I know
Yeah.
he wants me to talk about him. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure,
He's
yeah.
like, that's my daughter. I hope she says
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
about me.
Does he ever try to
stage."
force your? So also, Cassie has a twin and a brother.
Yeah.
You
Does
have a
he ever
brother
force
also?
your siblings to try comedy, or is it just you for some
Nope. I am like mini
favorite.
him. Like when I say
reason?
he's, I'm the son he never had, and I have a brother.
Yeah.
That's true. Like
Yeah.
I am miniature him.
That's fun.
So that's probably why.
Well, your brother and I, we went to high school together too. He does music now, right? Is that
Yeah,
right? Right.
yeah.
So that's
Younger
kind of
brother?
a
He has
similar
a different
lane.
creative outlet,
Yeah,
I
sure,
think.
sure. Yeah.
So is that like your best friend? This is your high school crush? What about her sister?
I don't know why you keep going back to this because I don't enjoy it.
I'm
but
telling
no,
you, I didn't know him in high
she
school.
literally had no idea.
What
who
do you
I was.
not get?
Yeah.
No, I did. I did.
Her, no, your brother was in my grade, I think, but I never really talked to him at all. I
Yeah.
just knew that was your brother. And then after I started going to the comedy club, she has obviously material about her brother, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, you did have a brother in my grade. Anyways, I appreciate you constantly bringing us back to that same sentence. He loves to
Just
derail
until,
that show.
until it's funny. I'm gonna keep. Bringing
I can
it up.
tell he is the derailer.
He literally
Depending on the track.
he does it on purpose. He will just kick the leg right out from under
maybe
him.
your 3 listeners like it.
Yeah.
They
No,
said
we're
more
not
of that.
No, they don't. In
derailing.
fact, I get weekly complaints
We're
about
good.
how he derails the show.
There is one person who likes it, and they let me know. So
Yeah.
we just,
I'm good.
It's him. It's his mom. Yeah.
oh, I hope my mom doesn't listen to this.
Well, Cassie's dad will be listening.
That's
and that'll
okay.
be
No
fun.
doubt.
Yeah.
Like Brian, me and Brian,
He'll be so happy to know we talked about him this much.
Yeah,
Right.
We-
No, he will.
he'll
We had
love
like
it.
an impromptu dinner one
I
time
love
at 6:20. I was sitting just getting dinner, and he just sat with me. And we ate dinner. It was fun. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't like
That's
that.
so fucking weird.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like that at all.
I'm sorry.
It was before the show. At Blue
I'm
Ridge.
very glad I wasn't
does
the
not
third
matter.
member.
Yeah.
At no
You
point
sit by
should you-
yourselves and
Yes.
acknowledge
You put
that
an
you
AirPod
aren't
in.
eating
I was
together.
sitting at
You
the-
put an
I was-
AirPod in.
I was sitting at the bar. I was just eating food.
It's
before
getting
the show.
sadder. I think I need to stop you there.
Okay, whatever. Have you never?
I was sitting alone crying over a spicy tuna roll, and Brian walked in.
Spicy noodles. Have you never just ate dinner or like ate lunch by yourself at a
I
restaurant?
love eating by myself.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite thing in the world.
I pop
Like,
an AirPod in,
Again, yeah.
throw on a podcast.
I'm gonna have some reading. I'm gonna have something there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, like I'm
To
just.
look like a normal fucking
The
human
open
being.
mic was about to happen. I was just
Yeah.
getting some dinner, writing some jokes. Brian sits there, and we just talked for 40 minutes.
So it's his fault. He ruined you having
He
your
sat next to you.
nice,
I enjoyed it.
lonely
Right.
meal.
and then Matt came, sat on my other side. It was a good time.
Who?
It was Mac.
oh, yeah.
McDonald's.
That's a,
I
was
I
like,
don't
who's
that-
Matt?
That three is that group of three. I
That
don't
sounds like, yeah, I could
like.
not have been.
I feel
there.
bad for the bartender in that
It was
scenario.
weird.
I feel
It's odd.
really just anybody nearby who had to hear you three be like, "This bit I've been working on."
You
they're
guys
like,
want to
"Who's
talk
this?"
some bits?
Yeah. Did you have the mics? Did you pull out the recording
We
equipment?
recorded
Yeah.
all episode.
I love when you're doing that too, and you're like this bit, and then you tell it, and then they're like,
No reaction.
I
Don't
think,
you love
I
when
think
it
maybe it'll work
bombs?
on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Try it. Yeah.
I love.
It's not right. Like this
Yeah.
is just not the moment, but it'll work,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't still work.
What's
Yeah.
the? Do you have a biggest?
Bomb.
Bomb, but also like your favorite show. You do. I was gonna plug Venus Envy.
Oh
as
my
well,
god,
Which I love those.
I
shows.
love Venus
Yeah.
There's
Envy
one of those
shows.
coming up, isn't
There is.
Yeah.
I wish I could promote it, but I don't know what day it is. I
Yeah,
can look it up.
I don't know. We'll find it. Yeah.
Venus Envy, Blue Ridge Comedy. Look
Absolutely.
it up. my favorite shows too, I think, are I love performing on the drag shows. That's so those crowds just understand me.
Yeah.
They see me, and I love that.
Does comedy do well on a drag show? That feels.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's cool. That's surprising me because I know like comedy, like in like musicians, like you doing comedy for like a musical act doesn't ever go well. So that's cool.
I like doing it to open the show up. I think it like helps because they aren't in any kind of like mood, but also like drag, or I also did a burlesque show. Those are just both super fun.
Yeah, Blue Ridge had a burlesque show. Is that at Blue Ridge?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's just because this crowd is like
open-minded,
gonna be looser, right?
Right.
They're not scared.
Yeah,
they're about to see naked people. Like
that's true.
They're ready for my comedy. If I talk about my vagina, they don't care about it. You know,
that's open-minded would be a very good way to describe. Them.
Well, there's less boundaries to step. Like sometimes as a comedian, you're supposed to tiptoe on the line, but I think in this area, just geographically, our line is a little different. Like, even we were just talking to Corey Day before this. You know, he's an Asheville comedian. That's the line's further back over there. Like, but in certain ways, it's not. Also, like they're easily offended compared to our crowd. Some would say. I'm not saying that, but
I'd say.
I'd say that. But
I'd say ours might be offended easier. But anyway, go ahead.
It depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But like in your situation, do you ever find that pushback from a crowd? Geographically, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like
I do. And like older crowds sometimes, and like nothing against it. It's just sometimes I'm talking about things that they're not used to hearing about. Like I said, I grew up in a family that was watching SNL when I was a kid. So like their boundaries are not the same.
Yeah. And like for you, like with your comedy, like an older crowd is like, a woman's not supposed to be talking about this.
Genuinely, they're like, ugh.
And like, yeah.
And they're right. That's what I'm going to say.
And all I can say. But honestly, when I have pushback, like I know other comedians will adapt. I'm just like, I'm gonna see this set through. You're gonna have to sit there and listen to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's
and sometimes you catch them on things
that
like maybe at first they're tight about it, and then later they're like, well, she's not gonna stop talking about it, so I might as well just
enjoy it.
Yeah. And I do think that happens sometimes.
That has to feel rewarding too when you can push through that, and then the crowd's on your side by the end.
Right.
Like you're like, well, maybe they didn't plan on hearing something like this tonight, but they can find the funny in it, or they can enjoy the way I'm presenting it, or whatever it is, which I think is all writing, honestly.
Yeah.
And
has
it
to be
sounds
creative,
like that's been right.
Has to be creative. And
There's
you do
also
have creative jokes. You do have very creative jokes.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Well, I think your set may be one of the ones I would probably cite as far as local comedians of like, oh, that's Kassidy's set. Like when you do, it's your jokes, it's your vibe. You have your own persona. We also, quick shout out to Shelly Gruenberg. Do you know Shelly?
Are you kidding? My queen?
You love Shelly, right?
I'm obsessed with Shelly.
I love her.
I followed that girl.
Trying to describe to someone the other night what Shelly Gruenberg does on stage that makes me love her, and I cannot pinpoint it. Yes, but you just have to see her to understand. It's a similar thing with you where I'm like, whatever she's doing up there is Kassidy. Like whatever Shelly's doing is Shelly. For sure. And nobody else.
Doubt.
I could go up there. I would never be able to replicate what she's doing. But it's fucking hilarious.
It's also pretty inconvenient though, because like people, it's really hard to have people help you write jokes or like, like getting outside help is really difficult. I will say the person who can always give me a tag is Pruitt. Pruitt is like the tag master.
I have tags from Pruitt.
He is that.
Everyone has tags from Pruitt.
I have tags.
Isn't that incredible?
He's written half of everyone's jokes.
Right. Yeah. But it does make it hard because I'm like me and Rain try to workshop, but we have really different styles.
Yeah.
So when we do it, it's like, that's so you. I love that for you. I can't help you with it.
Yeah.
Because I don't write jokes like that.
Yeah.
So
that was one of my favorite parts of having you both on Don't Tell last night too, is like, obviously we want to try to mix up the lineup as much as we can, and having female comics is a big part of that. But you all are so, although you do share that you're both female comedians, you're so different in your style and your writing that I don't think the crowd was ever like, there's a woman, there's a guy, there's a woman, there's a guy. It was like there's her style, there's Travis's style. Travis was between them two. So those three in a row, you're all over the place.
Right.
Did Rain do her dream journal joke?
She did. Yeah, she did.
That's like my favorite Rain.
Yeah. That is a very Rain joke. Also, that's uniquely Rain.
Like I could never talk about like wanting to smoke weed or what. Like it's just not like me.
It's not you. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So and then she probably wouldn't say things about like, I don't know. Well, she couldn't talk about med school.
Yeah.
Things like that.
That's true. Yeah.
So we just live with such different lives.
Do you find that med school helps? Like, does it give you material?
It truly does not. I mean, I know. Disappointing. Yeah. I wish I could say it did.
Yeah.
But like to me, I'm just like, this is so fucking not funny. And I will say, now that I've gotten through a lot of the stressful, hectic part, and I'm just like really beat down, I'm like starting to find funny things in
Right.
it
Yeah.
a little bit.
Maybe in
You're more
hindsight.
comfortable in it
Yeah.
because you were like because this is your first year of med school.
Yeah,
right?
this is my first year.
and it's the hardest year too.
It
isn't
is, for
Yeah.
So
sure.
I mean, like, yeah, you're almost done with the hardest year of medical school, and you were
Mhm.
like probably nervous,
Yeah.
rightfully so, and
Yeah.
it probably.
And as someone who dropped out of community college, he would know that.
I
That's
dropped
why
out I dropped out of both of y'all's alma maters, so
Oh, that's right. 2 of them. That's
Incredible.
awesome. That's
yeah,
sick.
twice.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys both went to
Super
TSU?
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because dropped
No,
out of that
I
one.
didn't really, but kind of. But I do know. But
Sort of, kind of.
I
Yeah.
dropped out of Quillen.
Welcome back to the
Did
Quillen
you?
podcast. We're here to talk about
Quillen Medical School.
But I think-
promoting.
the thing about medical school that makes it hard to write comedy about is that it is the most niche, like it's one of the most competitive things. So the only
Yeah.
people who are going to understand it is other medical students, which is such a small percentage.
Right.
I mean,
So I'd have to think of like big ideas that people understand, like can relate to.
Sure.
Right about make a joke about the kidneys. Just
Kidney joke.
kidney
Like
jokes.
I can't
no.
wait to hear that new kidney joke. Yeah.
What would you say is like the worst bomb you've ever had on a show?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually did hear that you guys asked about this, but I do have
Yeah.
just a classic one that I would have talked about. And I wouldn't say this was a bomb, but this was a character building experience. We had Rhythm and Roots like 2 years ago where we ran shows like every 30 minutes and no one came to them. And I had to perform on like every single one because I was working.
Yeah.
And so I performed
Damn.
like, I don't know, 10 shows in one day. And
Like 5 minutes
for
a show?
8.
Oh.
Wait, no, probably 5. Probably 5.
Still.
I don't think he would've
That's
done
an
that to
hour.
me.
You did an hour.
It was a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, I did the same things, but
Yeah.
over and over, and like for crowds of 5 to 10 to 6, but we had one, and it was 2 people, and I had to do that show.
We've done a 2-person show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a couple.
So like, yeah, it's a bomb, but like,
Does it count?
but could you have even done anything?
Right.
Yeah.
And but I will say, like, after that, the next day we were just like, we closed the club. We just went to Rhythm Roots and hung out. And Sean was like, yesterday was the day that you arrived to comedy because you had to do this.
Yeah.
And so it was like an incredibly formative experience. But yeah, I mean, it sucked.
How far in were you
Very
at that
humbling,
point? Like, how
too,
many
yeah.
months had he been doing it roughly?
Oh, let's see. Maybe like, wait, I don't even know. 3.
Couple months?
3 maybe?
Oh.
4?
3-4 months. And
Wait,
then
no, that's
perform
not
for
true.
2 people is
Unless
rough.
it was the year. It might have been a year.
Still.
That's better.
don't
than,
I mean,
No.
performing in front of 2 people is never fun.
Yeah, but that's
Never
better than
fun.
3 months into
I
comedy.
early
couldn't tell
on.
you.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember if it's right after we opened or a year and then right after that.
Yeah.
So
But though, I mean, if you get a pop out of 2, like if one thing gets a laugh out
They
of it,
loved
you're
it.
like, cha-ching. Yeah.
they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we had one family. No, okay. We had one family who came for the comedy show, not Rhythm and Roots. So we had to do this show and
They-
we did not want to.
Went
How many-
They suffered through Rhythm and Roots just due to the club.
They just came through to the club, I think,
They
but
just came
like
in the
didn't
back.
want, but they had to park like
Yeah,
a
they
mile
dealt with
away.
Rhythm and Roots to get to the club.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And
Oh,
then
you gotta
came
do the
and
show.
they didn't. These people did not like comedy. It was like they came for the guy's birthday and then brought their 2 parents who were very old and
Yeah.
very much from the countryside,
Very red.
and it was crazy.
That's wild.
At one point they just like looked back and were watching me sweep. These people were so uninterested, and it was like 4 of them.
Well,
That was the
comedians
worst
on stage,
bomb.
They're watching you
They
sweep
were
up the
more
floor.
interested in what I was doing behind them. It was that was the worst one.
Well,
No
shows
doubt.
like that, I mean, like you said, like, does that really even count? Like,
Yeah.
it's just character building. We did one time, similar thing where you might have been there too. I know Meredith was, where this couple came. It was just 2 of them. And we were like, hey, we're sorry, nobody else showed up. We can cancel the show. We can refund you. This is back in the bad old days, carpeted stage days. And that's how you
Trauma.
know. That's how you know. Yeah, carpeted stage days. And they came and they were like, we drove from, I forget where, far, like maybe Roanoke or something. They're like, we saw the show. We wanted to come. If you guys would do it for us, we
Yeah.
promise we'll be the best we can. They were incredible.
Right.
Some of the most fun I've
They
ever
sat in the
had.
front at least.
Sort of. Yeah,
It'd
like
be
that
so
VIP.
funny to me if they sat in the very back of the room.
There was 2 of them. I can't remember. Maybe 1 or 2 others in the crowd too. It was under 5 people
Yeah.
for sure. But those 2 were like, if you, we don't want our money back. Even if you cancel the show, keep our money. But we would love it if you guys don't do the full time. Do whatever you want. Just do something for us.
Sometimes they're so good because it's so chill. You're like,
it was the best. I was just fucking around,
right?
And I think I did
expectations
longer.
are low.
Yeah, I did longer than I had planned on doing because I was
Right.
like, we're just up here screwing
Yep.
around.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, on the flip side of that, I mean, is Venus Envy one that you think is like the hardest you've ever crushed?
It depends. There's
Yeah.
some Venus Envies where, I don't know, I guess people don't know what to expect from it. So
Is that? I'm asking this genuinely. Is that like a pretty like a lot of men and women, or is it mostly women in those?
In
in
the
the crowd?
Yeah.
I would say it's split.
Yeah.
I would say the first one, men for some reason thought that they couldn't come. Like that was like their night off from comedy. And it's like, you better fucking come to our show. It's like the opposite, right?
I've been once before, yeah.
Yeah, like you want men to come, so it's like showing, hey, men like women in comedy also.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different vibe too. We were actually on the last episode. We talked with Corey Day about storytelling shows and then about roast battles. And I would say Venus Envy is almost an exercise in that it's like it's a little different than your typical comedy show, but it's a different muscle that you're working.
Yeah.
And that crowd seems, I mean, they sell out.
Well, you
Every
just do like your normal set, or do you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
change anything. It's just a bunch of women comedians. But that's the thing. Like we said before, is like, okay, me and Rain have incredibly different sets.
Yeah.
Right.
And Meredith.
Right.
So it's like
Yeah.
I'd say you and Meredith are more similar than.
more. Yeah, I
Rain,
agree. I was
yeah.
like, you mean my
Crossover.
mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between the three of you,
That's
though,
true.
that's a very diverse show.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna feel like
Yeah.
super female comedian. It's not like we all talk about the same things.
Yeah. And do they announce the lineup, or like, do you know the lineup for the next one already, or have they announced?
I don't
it?
know. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to plug it
I know a
incorrectly,
couple.
but
I can tell you when it is though, and I think I should.
I'm sure it's
because-
probably for sure.
I know one person on the show.
I'm sure it's probably you, Rain, Meredith, right, and
I
then
think
some
Katie's
others
on it.
Katie Steigers,
I think
maybe.
Katie's on
Shout
it.
out to
And who
Katie.
was like incredibly different also than any of us.
Yeah, very, very different.
She's
Katie's
talking about
hilarious.
books and shit, you
Yeah.
know? I'm not doing
You're like,
that.
I'm not. No. Yeah.
Her.
You're talking about kidneys. That's what you
little-
better.
My
her
kidneys.
There better be a kidney joke.
House
We're
on the
gonna
I'm
get-
gonna work on it. It's
joke.
in the works.
Katie Steiger's House on the
Yeah.
Prairie joke. That kills me.
And
every
Christmas
time.
words. That's
Okay, it's-
Christmas words is the funniest.
Venus
fucking
Envy is April
one-liner.
6th. So
April 6th. This will be out. This will be out before
come
then.
see me.
I don't think it will actually.
Is it?
What is that? A Friday or Saturday?
It's a Saturday, I think.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Either
way.
if it's on a Saturday, if it's on Friday, yeah, this comes out either the day that happens or the day before that happens. Actually,
Either way, they do Venus
Saturday.
Envy.
BlueRidgeComedy.com. I think I don't know what
Yeah.
the name of the website is.
Yeah, it'll be the day
probably.
before. Perfect.
Yeah,
So,
so
if you're
yeah.
listening to this tomorrow, Venus Envy, Blue Ridge and Bristol.
Yeah.
All female lineup, and it's usually like it's a
Nathaniel
showcase
hosts.
style. Everybody's doing 10, 15 ish, something like that.
Yeah.
Usually,
Thank you for
yeah.
laughing
10,
at that, Cassidy. I
12.
appreciate it.
I don't like it. I don't I don't
Okay,
approve.
so fun transition. What is the?
So stupid.
We have one sound left. She wanted
Like
to
a
hear 'em.
bird. I'm
She-
sorry.
She wanted to hear them all, so we have one sound less. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen happen at Blue Ridge Comedy Club?
That's a good question. Michael thinking he's
Oh,
funny?
I know. No, I think you guys have probably heard of this, but there was a man who went on stage. His name is Stoney.
Yes, we've told the
And
Stoney story.
I'm sure you
a
have.
couple
I would like to
times.
hear
That
it
is the
from your-
craziest thing.
Our goal for this podcast is
Perspective.
actually just to get every
The perspective?
possible
I want to hear
witness,
your. I want to hear
What
your.
happened?
every witness in the
I
room
wanna
to
hear
tell the
your
Stoney
perspective.
story.
We've seen the video.
Joe
too.
provided the video.
There's a video?
Yes,
Oh,
there
there
is. I'll
is.
send it to you.
Oh my God,
It's
yes.
not the whole thing. It's like
Yeah.
he was already in it.
Yeah, you had to recover from shock to start recording
Right.
is the thing.
He was
So,
like already at least a minute in, so it just.
Well,
kinda
I'll say
starts.
this. It's been a while since we've had anyone bring this up on the show. So if you would, please provide the bartender view
oh my God.
of what this was like.
And
to
I
witness.
do.
Yeah.
So these people had come like 2 or 3 times before, and they were horrible anyway.
Yeah.
And they're not listening to this podcast, so I'm gonna fucking go.
If
they're-
they can,
okay.
they can listen.
They're
I'll
in
have-
jail.
We'll have him
One
on.
of them,
Let's have him on.
fake leg, not relevant to the story.
As a
But
fake
it
leg.
is.
But I'm painting the picture, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Loser.
the woman.
She's a
and
good writer. Yeah.
Fake leg.
She's an artist.
Is it like
4 of them.
diabetes fake leg or like accident fake leg?
God, it
What's
was
the
it was
difference?
not a born with fake leg. It
That-
wasn't a born without
Oh.
that. You know what I mean? Something
Yeah.
happened
Yeah, yeah,
to,
yeah,
to
yeah.
and it was the
Gangrene.
woman, I think. Gangrene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost it
You
on the
guys are
Oregon
so-
Trail. There was an arrow in it.
It's
and
giving
it got
medical.
infected. It went to her kidneys.
Necrotic.
Don't throw out glossary terms for your pop quiz tomorrow.
They were horrible too because they were trying to order and they asked me, they were like, haha, we can't read. Can you read this to us? They could read. But they wanted me to read it to them.
That's a weird
because
power
they were
move.
assholes.
That's a very weird power move.
They paid for 7 drinks, and it was like they had 32 cents in change, and he said, "Keep that for your tip." And so immediately I'm
Big
like,
spender.
"Big fuck this
Yeah.
this guy. He's an asshole. I already hated him."
Yeah.
So whenever he went up and like did that, I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, this is awesome."
Yeah.
Because
Big fan of that word.
before
Yeah.
he was just an asshole to
Right.
me, and I can just complain about it in my lonesome,
Yeah.
be mad.
Sure.
And then I was like, look at what a piece of shit this guy
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Not
It
to
was
mention
awesome.
the tip, yeah. Well, for anybody listening who maybe didn't catch it on previous episodes, basically, a guy gets up there and just a very elderly white man, prolific use of the
I
N-word.
don't think he was that old, was he?
Well, he started, I don't know.
I mean, he was like in his 30s, I
Who
thought.
cares?
You
Yeah.
could look,
Still.
yeah.
Yeah. Just it was insane. Insane. Something that should never happen. And I think he was
never.
asked never to return, right? After that, like
I think,
he was
yeah.
still- I would hope.
I would
I will say
It'd
he
be bad if
said
Sean was like, "Do you want a spot on Saturday?"
he started it by being like, I have black friends. I have the N word.
right
Or the in card.
pass.
That's about when the video starts.
right there is about where the
That's a
video
pretty
starts.
good time to
Then
start
he
it, honestly.
fake calls his friend.
Right.
Yeah.
He pulls out his phone, fake calls his friend,
Right.
and drops it.
This
several
man's
times.
never met a black person.
No.
Can I just say?
No, absolutely
No
not.
doubt in my
Yeah.
mind.
And he has not returned to the club since.
And no.
I wonder how many Confederate flags he has hanging in his apartment.
a couple.
His wife had
Just
to
the one
ask
on
Sean,
his
like,
bumper sticker.
Yeah.
his wife was like, so I don't understand. Isn't it like free speech? And we're like, yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
don't
not
be
really
racist.
like,
Yeah.
that's not really
It's
what's going
what
on
free
here.
speech means.
Yeah.
You know?
We can still kick you out for being an asshole. So
Yeah.
Well, it has to be funny also, which is just like,
Right.
There's nothing about what he was doing that would have ever
Nathaniel's working
elicited
on
a laugh.
working on a joke that he thinks is really funny, and the punchline is the N word.
Right.
now,
If
so.
you can make it work.
oh right,
No.
yeah. Then as long
Stop
as it's
trying to get me
as long as
canceled.
it's funny enough.
Now I have something to lose. You can't keep doing that. Used to on the show, he could just tell people, "Oh, I cut out Nathaniel's N-word on the last episode." Now I
Horrible.
actually have a business I'm working on.
Yeah.
Take it
That's
easy.
okay.
sweating over there.
I'm not the one
Yeah.
who's dropping it like
Getting
you are.
nervous.
So.
Well, I guess we're not going to be sponsored by Quillen after this episode. That's a shame.
Yeah.
This hopefully no one.
You're gonna
will
withdraw
listen to
this.
this.
Yeah.
They
I'm
won't,
gonna send
don't
it to the dean.
Don't worry,
That's
won't.
fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So,
Okay.
here's
hope they
another
kick me
question.
Hold on. One more. Transition to the last. This is
If
the
you
last
don't
one. It's
stop
not the
with
last
this
question.
Let's go, let's
Transition.
That one's not
Come
bad.
on
That's
now.
a very
That's a good
Cassidy.
transition.
We should have been using that one the whole time.
That should have been when she sat down. That should be the
Cassidy Morton's on the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a promo for the social media. Yeah.
Ask your question.
No, the question that we always ask is, what's one piece of advice that you would give to a person who's new to comedy? But I think for you, that question, I would modify that a little bit and say, what's a piece of advice you give to someone who's new to comedy but is also balancing other very important things in their life?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
This
Yeah.
is to me directly. Go ahead.
So Michael, what I think you should do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave my family.
And we
Yep.
are taking notes, so if you be very detailed.
Quit medical school.
Okay, step one.
Already
drop
did it.
out.
Got it.
Did it. Cool. On track.
Go to CrossFit all day,
'Kay.
all day long.
Kind of do that.
Honestly, Michael is crushing this trajectory so far. He is right on track. Like, everything
I'm,
you've
Do
said.
you watch anime?
I've seen animes in
No,
the past.
no. You have to devote your life to it.
Don't
Nope.
currently do it.
Got it.
We did have you definitely didn't listen to that episode where we spent 10 minutes ripping anime people. No offense.
Oh,
Yeah.
No,
I'm,
it was
I'm
just,
a weeb, admittedly.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I
but
just-
I've never seen you with a tail or cat ears,
Yeah.
and that is something.
You should see
That's
my
an achievement.
keychains.
All right.
But yeah, yeah.
No, the whole thing we ripped anime people about was there's some people who they're like, hey, have you seen this anime? And then I'm like, no, and then they make fun of you essentially.
Yeah,
and
because
make
fuck
feel
you for
bad.
not seeing that
And it's
anime
like-
yet.
She is on the side of the person you're talking
Like, what are
about.
you doing if you're not
What
seeing
is your
that
favorite
anime?
What is your favorite anime?
Jujutsu Kaisen, obviously.
I don't
Yeah.
even
It's-
know
it's everyone's
what
favorite
words.
anime.
It's not mine.
I don't know what
What's
words
yours?
she just-
Naruto probably.
Boo.
Yeah.
What a
Real
lame
basic
ass
bitch.
answer.
I'm actually, it's because I'm a new age weeb, so like, I don't know.
Have you not seen Naruto? Or have
I've
you?
seen some episodes.
But
But
you've not seen
when you've seen like
the
these,
700 episodes that
no, I
I've dedicated
haven't
my life
committed.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Or Dragon Ball. Sorry.
I watched
RIP.
it. I didn't get into drag. I mean, I watched it when I was a kid, but I didn't like,
Those are like the two.
you know.
We don't have to talk about
I'm
it.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
so out of place
Pretty-
on my
pretty
own
big-
show.
pretty big
I don't know
Yu-Gi-Oh!
what
guy.
the fuck is
You
going
guys
on
want to
today.
know? Okay.
Kidneys, CrossFit, and Dragon Ball
medical
Z.
school.
I'm out.
No, she said Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z is different.
I'm
It's no big
out.
deal. It really is different. It's not a
Who
big
gives a fuck? Here's my
Yeah,
question.
honestly, I'm on the who gives a fuck
Just
train a
one-
little
Yeah, who
bit. A little
cares?
bit.
Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But that's when I was good. When I was good at comedy, that's what I was doing. I was fucking up some anime,
You think it helps?
sleeping 12
Think it helped
hours,
your act?
Yeah.
That is
For
a true
sure.
comic schedule. Sleep all
For
day, watch
sure.
anime, go hit some mics. Yeah.
bartend until
Bartend.
1 a.m. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
life.
Also, I'll credit real quick too that you and Meredith, you are Kassidy. You and Meredith, I've seen do this where like you'll be back there mixing drinks, closing tabs, and then they're like, "Coming up to the stage, Kassidy, more," and you have to sprint. That is another
That's,
level.
And I have
Of
been
commitment.
conditioned now, so if I have time to think, like on a show that I'm
Yeah.
not bartending, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to stand up. I'm gonna have to walk around. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to pretend. I literally have to like pretend like I'm bartending.
I should have known that last night. I would have been like,
Yeah.
"Kassidy, will you hand me a beer before you go up?"
Yes. Oh, that would have felt so good.
Have to take like a phone call up until
You got to calculate
I love doing
22%
that.
before you
Yeah.
go
I'm
up.
like, I have to pee real quick. Can I go? And Meredith has to cover, and then I'm almost late. It's such good drama.
That stresses me out though. Like the calling your name as you're ringing up, because I'm the opposite. I need that. In fact, I need to be alone. Like a lot of times, I go to my car right while the person before me is on stage. Or something. I gotta exhale and be alone sometimes.
It's kind of nice when you're bartending because, like, if they call your name and you're like a little bit late, everyone knows, like, oh, that girl's the bartender.
Right.
Yeah.
Just give her, like, cut her some slack. If she's not funny, at least she's working a little butt off.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Yeah.
true.
she's such a hard worker.
Just tip her more.
Tip her more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love doing that, but that's probably not what I would give as advice to
Be a
everybody
bartender.
else.
Yeah.
Be a bartender at the
Yeah.
comedy club so
Not
that
bad
you can
advice.
never
You
do
get
shows
stage
on the
time.
weekend.
You do get
You
time.
do get stage
That's
time.
true.
Yeah.
That's more than you even want, to be honest. I mean, maybe not for some people, but like you'll come in, you're just trying to bartend, you've had a bad day.
Yeah.
You wouldn't normally have come to the club, and people are like, get on stage, open for me, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, bruh.
Yeah. Well, that one I would almost say is like spend as much time as you can at the club, because we've had guests say that too.
100%.
And that was me in the early days. I had way more free time. So I was there all the time, and I got tons of spots just by hanging, being around.
I would absolutely agree with that. If you're there, like, like Sean's like he sees you, he's thinking about
Right.
you.
Right.
Like, make yourself known.
Yeah. And sometimes he's last minute anyways, as far as like getting a show situated or
Right.
finding an opener or
Yeah.
just a guest spot if you're there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just nice. Maybe a headliner wants a
Yeah.
extra guest
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
warm the crowd up. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I would say that's good advice, is being there a lot. I did that by like just bartending, but you should hang out.
Yeah.
Like Sean will say, like, if you're hanging out at the club, like, you're just significantly more likely to get booked.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So be present. Even if you don't want to go up, be present.
Yeah.
Because he'll remember you next time. But
Yeah.
my advice also is just to like write, obviously.
Yeah.
Write, say it out loud, whatever, and then go back and just read over it a lot of times. Like, just start writing. I don't do it as much. And then also getting on stage a lot is important, obviously. Even if you think it's going to be bad,
Yeah.
that's fine.
That's a common one. I mean, we've had 35 episodes now, I guess this is.
Sure.
35 answers to that question, and I would say usually their answer is here's some advice, but the biggest one is reps. Like, just get on
Yeah.
stage
Yeah.
and keep doing it.
It's
And I
a
think that's
similar
true.
theme.
Yeah.
The whole
Well, also when it comes to like the writing, everybody's a little different in how they do that. But the stage
Right.
time thing, there's no substitute. There's no other way to do it.
Right.
Just get on stage.
And
Yeah.
people ask me about the writing process a lot. Like, I would honestly say I write things and they're horrible at first because they're so long. And I really, really benefited from doing the like comedy knockout where it's 1 minute each.
1
Yeah.
minute.
Because
Yeah.
then all my jokes got condensed. I never reverted back.
Right.
All
I
my
agree with
jokes are
that.
like a minute now.
Yeah.
And I love it because if it doesn't hit,
Yeah.
You're
that's
only a
fine. We're
minute.
moving on to the next minute.
Right.
And then if it does, you get quick laughs every time. So
Yeah.
like I mean, there's some people who have just like great storytelling. That's not me. Like Pruitt is
Right.
like
That's
such
a
a good
different thing.
storyteller.
And he should not do knockout.
Right.
He should not. He gets so mad.
And it's just going to make you upset.
I
But
love Pruitt
Yeah.
so much, but he's well, you mentioned you're competitive too, and I think a lot of comics are, and I think you have to be.
You can't be.
Yeah.
But it's a
this.
different level of like, I'm so angry that, this that I lost this round. I lose all the time in knockout, but
Yeah.
I'm there for a different motive, I think. I mean, I would love to win, sure, but like the marketing, the hang is kind of my incentive, whereas I'm
Yeah.
not a super competitive person. Like, I have to win this.
we have
Yeah.
a very unique scenario though, where like the comedians at our club are all friends. Like
Right.
we're
Yeah.
not that competitive with each other. Like we
Yeah.
want to see each other succeed. Like me and Rain are best friends and we both do female comedy. So it's like we could be really competitive with each other, but we're not.
It's the out-of-towners that we're competitive with.
Right. Fuck those people.
That's true, yeah.
Stay out of our city.
No, like
Knoxville guy.
the social stuff, and it makes it way better, I think,
Yeah.
honestly.
I think so too. And I've even had, which that's one of my favorite things about being a part of the Blue Ridge family or like the Tri-Cities comedy scene is that when comedians from Asheville, from Knoxville, from wherever come here, or even on this show, they have said everyone is so encouraging and welcoming that it's almost frightening to us. Like it's weird. It's not cutthroat at all. It's encouraging. And I credit Sean for that, for being the head runner in the early days of like, he established that as like, this is the vibe. This is a Misfit Toys, and we're all here for each other.
It makes it easier for new people to get into it, for sure.
Absolutely.
Right. Also, everyone can do well. So like the competition, it's like an innate feeling of like wanting to be better than other comedians, but like all the comedians can do well. You know what I mean? It's kind of like med school too right now. Like everyone's competitive with each other, and like we're all gonna be doctors. We can all be doctors. It's fine. So it's like But once you let go of that, you end up being a better doctor or a better comedian. So.
And no matter how funny I get, I'll never be a doctor. So I just like to appreciate you pointing that out.
Yep.
It will only
You'll
make
have
you less
success
funny.
in your life, and we'll be doing this stupid fucking show
At
in
least you
10
have a
years.
college degree.
You'll be back on in a white coat, like things are
I
going
can't wait.
good.
I already have my white coat.
That's right. Is it cut off?
Oh my God.
Got it.
I didn't want to cut my $60,000 white coat or whatever it was.
That is an expensive
$400,000 white coat.
Probably cost
Yeah.
$10 to produce
Yeah.
overseas. Yeah, $60,000.
That was
expensive-ass
that was
white
funny, Nathaniel. I'll give you credit for that, but I'm not going to.
Oh, it's not mine. It's Meredith's, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And actually Sean's.
Well, they brought you one, right? They brought you a cut off white
Yeah,
coat.
Meredith.
Yeah, that's great.
That's very
That's
funny.
great. Yeah.
Before we wrap up, do you have anything, any shows, any social medias, anything like that you'd like to plug?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to be on Venus Envy April 6th.
Hell yeah.
And
Tomorrow.
Literally just random ass shows. So to find those out, you should follow me on Instagram
Absolutely.
at Cass_Morton with a K.
Mm-hmm.
And
Don't follow her dad. Don't follow Brian Morton.
And do not follow Brian Morton comedy
Right.
for sure.
This is a chance for you to plug not to follow your dad. Unfollow him if you follow Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, his social media. We should have even.
Can you
get into
imagine
that.
he wakes up after this episode and like he's lost 100 followers? And
That
it's
would
like,
be
what
so
the fuck?
funny.
That's the influence.
Don't do that.
Right.
If you're listening to this, don't do that. Yeah.
Or do it. We'd laugh. Don't
That's
do
true.
it.
Cassie may want you to do
You can refollow him after, but like
Yeah,
just for
just
the
so he
for, like,
feels
a
it.
prank. I love
Yeah.
it.
Just so he feels it.
Our podcast is Talkin Bits Pod on Instagram. I'm Michael Rose Comedy on Instagram, and he has a stupid Instagram handle. Go ahead.
Every time. My Instagram is NLB_423. You'll find it. It's not that complicated. I'm not changing it. Every week he makes me change it. I'm not gonna.
Still wasn't me. I'm just
I'll
on
keep
the
saying
Travis
it's you.
train. That one.
Don't Tell Tri-Cities is on Instagram now as well.
Yeah.
Follow that. One of the other people at this table will probably be on future shows.
Yep.
And that same person was already on one. So
I'm headlining next month. So what's up?
no, please, we want them to buy
Yeah.
tickets. Michael's not going to be on it.
I'm headlining with my best
No,
five.
really, he's not.
that-
No, really, he's not though.
Yeah, no, really, we're being dead shit.
Well, really, I am. So
Please.
thank you.
Yeah.
Don't Tell Tri-Cities for giving me the honor. And
No, follow us there. Also, we haven't in a couple. If you're listening,
The next
to
show's in
this,
my basement,
If you're on
so-
Spotify and for some reason you're still listening to us plug random shit, go check us out on YouTube because this
Yeah.
full video is going to be available there. You can
Yeah.
watch Cassidy laugh as we make fun of her dad. You can see Michael's ridiculous ass hood on for the second episode in a row.
Yep,
You can see it all. It's going to be fun. So check us out there. Is that it?
I guess so.
I think we're good. Cassie, any final remarks?
Cool.
Might
Any
burn your
closing
house down
words?
later.
No, you guys.
It's all about the
Got
kidneys.
it.
All right. We
Kidneys.
love you all. Yay. Bye.